we actually know students are paying attention in the classroom? What does it look like when they're actually engaged in their classwork? These are the questions that we have, and hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have some answers. I started off by talking to a few students, and I asked them, what do you notice when your peers are not paying attention in the class? What do you notice them doing? And here's what they said.
When the class starts to get boring, my classmates begin to draw on their papers, they get on their phones, they start whispering to each other. A few of them even look out the window, and I assume they're daydreaming.
Sometimes there'll be heads buried in their arms, kind of just, I quit, where you just show everyone that you've quit on the class.
I've seen a few go on Facebook because they have their laptops with them, and some of them even fall asleep.
Hi, America. I notice slouching.
I noticed a lot of students slouching.
One of the things I've noticed was slouching. One of the things I noticed is slouching.
They're slouching in their seat. Slouching.
Slouching. Slouching.
Slouching.
Did they say slouching? Well, one thing I do know is students do not wear hoodies in class, and they definitely don't fidget. Those are two things that I'm certain of. Okay. I had a chance to speak with instructors on campus, and I asked them, what do you notice when people are not engaged in the classroom? Here's how they responded.
You can tell that students aren't engaged a lot of times when you see them bringing out a book from another class or trying to get a newspaper out or something like that and take a look at it. Sometimes when they're doodling with their hand, like this in their face, those are a lot of the nonverbals that suggest that they're not as engaged in the material as they should be. I'm really strict about any technology, so students, if they're texting, they are sneaking it and doing a good job of it. Beyond that, looking bored.
Well, when I'm teaching, some of the things I notice when I know students are not engaged, I can see them texting people, I can see them sleeping once in a while, I can see them they're just checked out, they're not there.
I sat down with a few instructors, and I asked them, how do you guys get your students involved? What do you do? Here's the kind of ideas that they threw at me.
A lot of times what I do to keep the interest and keep students engaged is, especially when we're doing something that's genuinely theoretical, that doesn't seem to apply to their lives, I make real-world examples, truly understanding my audience, to make sure that they understand how this theoretical thing applies directly to their Facebook life, their Twitter life. Oftentimes I've drunk the YouTube Kool-Aid, and to play a YouTube video to make a point and then go back to hitting the point and how it directly relates to them, that really helps to keep students engaged.
For review, sometimes after I've finished a concept, I have something called Give One, Get One, and it looks like a bingo chart kind of with questions on it, like, why is it that members of the House are worried about the census? And I direct the students to get up out of their seats, find a student who can answer that question, explain the answer, and sign their name on it. And there's usually 5, 6, 7 questions. I ask them to get up, move, get those answers, and then come back to their seats, and then we all share out the answers we found. Gives them a chance to move and also to interact with the content.
Okay, I'm going to give you 6 minutes. So start thinking now before you get your paper. What is it you're going to draw? And I want you to help each other because after 6 minutes we're going to talk about it. Okay, go.
As you can see, the students are actually interacting with one another about the subject matter. So for my final question, I asked the students, what gets you interested in the classroom? And here's what they said.
I notice classes or the classroom is engaged when there's hot button topics.
One day in class, I had so much fun. We were taking a quiz, and we got to play Jeopardy, and it was the funnest time I've ever had in my life.
I remember a time when a teacher had all the students participate in the class. She used a ball, and then she started off with a question, and then she passed it to a student. And then after that, a student will pass the ball to any student they want, and from that question, the student will have to answer it, and all the students were alert and making sure they knew the answer, and having fun at the same time, and having fun just tossing the ball back and forth.
This short film has been brought to you by the Basic Skills Committee. And hopefully, if I've done my job correctly, you, the instructor, have a better understanding of what to look for in your classroom and what things to use to keep your students engaged. Have a great day.